I'm going to teach you 5 minutes of fire that will literally 10x your AI prompting capabilities. But before I get into that, Linda, is AI a distraction for businesses?
It probably depends who you're asking, Mobes. For me personally, I think no. But I have seen cases where I do think it is a distraction and they're using it for the wrong reasons or on the wrong tasks. For me, I think when I look at our business, the way that we personally use AI, I think it's increased the capabilities of everyone in the business tenfold because we're very specific on the user cases of AI. When we use it, for what tasks, we're really deliberate in making sure that it's complementary to the things that we're doing and it's not adding additional things into our everyday life that we have in the business. So I think it depends. If there are businesses that are spending a lot of time on AI, just trying to implement it for the sake of it, and they don't have a real strategy about it, and a real goal associated to it, for example, for us, it's reduced the amount of time it takes for us to write articles. As one example, right?
Yeah.
But then being really specific with that KPI in terms of, okay, if we know an article takes us 4 hours, we know that AI can help us ideate, or AI can help us get keyword research done. And that typically takes us an hour. So already our KPI there is, okay, we want to take content writing from 4 hours to 3 hours. If you're specific like that and it's on a task that you do often, then absolutely.
I think there's two things here. To your point, there's like tasks, like what are you doing daily? And the organizations that are really succeeding with AI, they have the daily operational muscle down pat, but also the business initiative, like business case down pat. And even if you're a small business, it doesn't matter. You have to be thinking like this. There is a study that came out by MIT, a report that found that 95% of generative AI pilots at companies are failing. 95%.
Wow.
Yet, I was at an event at HubSpot yesterday and they're like, hey guys, it's so funny because I learned that stat from them, but in the same presentation, like you need to offer your clients more AI services. And it's like, look, I get it 100%. And that is something when we launch HubSpot or HubSpot initiatives into clients, we are teaching them the AI features, but we're not going to be adding distractions. We're not going to change our business model and add more services and we're going to offer an AI service. There are great companies that do that, but I think a lot of these companies, either they're pushing partners or they're shoving it down people's throats. So you're absolutely right. We did a presentation at the CEO Institute about this, and the key takeaway there before we move off of this and get into prompting is the business case around it. And I even share a spreadsheet and all the manual things that one of the first places that we find businesses start, if you think about the AI maturity, is efficiencies, right? Where can we get efficiencies? So for example, one of the things we hear about all the time is proposals take too long. Yeah. I have to take my meeting notes. Cool. Then I've got to summarize my meeting notes. A lot of people know you can already use AI for that. Then I've got to put it in a PowerPoint, and then I've got to put that in something else and send it. Well, guess what? You can build an agent for that.
Yeah.
You can actually build an agent for that. Until recently, and we're still actually doing it. We're using VAs to do some of that, but we're taking more and more off VAs and replacing it with agents. And where we're taking it to is have an agent. So you think of a mini app or web app where you go in, it's connected to the CRM, it's connected to a PowerPoint.
Your call recordings software.
So only let's keep it simple. Call recordings, PowerPoint or Google Slides, and the CRM. And you can hit the agent and say, hey, look, based on everything we discussed. Now, as long as you're asking the right questions in your discovery.
So it knows how to marry it up.
It knows how to marry it up. It will then create the PowerPoint presentations for you. And from every day, forget last year, yesterday, clients spend so much time creating proposals. So much time. And that's one way to get rid of it. So anyway, going back to this thing, at that operational sense, okay, cool. What's the problem that we're trying to solve? What could the agent be? This is really, really important that people don't do enough. If we invest in this, what's going to be the cost or time saving or the ROI? So you might say, okay, cool. We're going to cut down time to create proposals by 75%. Or increase sales by X%. You have to have some sort of KPI there because then that makes you stomach the cost.
Yeah.
Because then that'll force you to be like, okay, well, if it's going to save 3-4 hours and it costs me this much, well, over the course of a year, this could save us this many dollars. I'm going to put a $5,000 budget to get someone to create an agent for me.
And to be able to go through that process and be able to justify even spending time on understanding the goals, the KPIs, it just shows that you need to make sure that you're thinking or considering AI for the right reasons and for the right things. Because the last thing that you're going to do is want to spend all that time figuring out big picture, KPIs, what's the goal? And you're going to be focused on a task that actually, or an operation that isn't that important to the business. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, to help, before we move off, what I will do in the show notes, if you go to redpandas.com.au/EP190, in the show notes, I'll share a template that we've used with clients and shared with clients and events we've spoken at, where it's literally the spreadsheet template for a business case. Because there's a whole bunch of other columns like who's going to be the project owner and that whole stuff. So that'll definitely help you. It's a good place to start. Check out the show notes. I think we are at 190. Hopefully that's correct. You can find it there. All right, cool. Let's get straight into it. How to 10x your prompting skills. There are 4 key things I want to share here, and all of them sort of cascade and build on top of each other. The first one is so common sense that it's worth talking about, and it's pick a top tier model. So what do I mean by that? I think a lot of, it's really funny, like when DeepSeek came out, right? It's like we always we're on this like, I don't know, like this treadmill of like what's the next best
shiny
thing?
toys, yeah.
So then DeepSeek came out, people were like, oh, it's like so much better, and it's like it can do all these great things. And then there was another one, starts with M, I can't remember, like all these models or these like these models are coming out. Yeah, the models are coming out. Our advice, it doesn't matter if you're like like the bigger of business you are, the more important this advice is pick a top tier model, one of 3. ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini. And the reason for that is, I've heard people say, hey, Claude is like super awesome and it's really good for this. ChatGPT is better for that. They're all very, very capable models. And in their pre-training, they are all fed very similar things. And yes, they might slant better to some things, but for the most part, they're very, very capable and they can all do the same things. You might actually find that, because you're prompting light or you're not giving enough resources or links or attachments, that one is better than the other. But I'd highly recommend you pick one. And the reason for that is as businesses are already going through this AI journey, they start using it for prompting. They start using it for emails. Then they're like, oh, I need to build an agent. Oh, I need to connect databases.
Yeah.
Something we'll talk about next time is like, I need to connect AI with my CRM. Now, not all of these models integrate.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like one of the things when people are looking for CRMs, I'll hear this all the time. Like, hey, look, Moby, we're looking at HubSpot because it's one of the 3 that integrates with our particular MYOB or content management system. So they're already thinking about that. You might be like, I'm really sort of small and it doesn't matter, but you've got to think like a big business. Right? So whichever model you hitch your wagon on, you will find you'll hit roadblocks later because every major software and platform is looking to integrate with these 3.
Yeah.
They're not looking to integrate with some of these fringe ones.
And what you're saying, Mobes, is try and pick one of the 3. Try not to dabble in all 3 of them.
Yeah,
and use all 3 for different reasons.
For the most part. I mean, it's really hard to give blanket advice if I don't know what specifically someone's using or why it's using it for. But for the most part, I know like people say, Claude's more human or whatever, but we're going to talk about some advice where you can actually give it instructions. Like the models are very similar and it's just that some are more slanted to, and when you get lazy prompting, you are going to find some models better than other. But if you get really good at prompting and really good at feeding resources, the benefit will be negligible and you will thank yourself years down the track or months down the track when you find you have to integrate. And especially when you start going down the agentic AI build agents.
Makes sense. So try and make the most out of the one that you pick rather than be unhappy with the results that you're getting. Get better at prompting, get better at using that particular model and keep it all there, I guess, similar to the way you approach all different softwares. Like you want to try and minimize the different breakpoints that can happen. Keep your ecosystem nice and tight. And that includes AI at the same time.
Like people use Canva for video editing, right? So like, okay, well, Canva hits all these, then I don't have to buy multiple softwares. CRMs, well, you know, whether it's a HubSpot or Salesforce, you'll pick the one that ticks most of the boxes. Same thing with this.
Yeah.
Exact
Okay.
same thing.
Love it. All right. Beautiful.
The next one is really interesting. I'm really surprised the amount of people who don't have this. So admittedly, I only turned this on our ChatGPT, one of our ChatGPT accounts like 2 months ago, and that's using custom instructions. ChatGPT calls it custom instructions. Other models will call it something else, but most of the top tier ones have this button in the settings. You have to understand, like when the whole allure of these systems is they have to make it dummy proof. So the reason why they don't show you all these features like on the login screen is they just want you using it. Because if they put too many barriers to entry, people are too hard.
Too complicated.
But they're more customized than you can think. There is a button in the back of ChatGPT that is literally enable custom instructions. In that, it literally has questions. Tell me about you. Are you a person? Are you a business? What do you do? What do you sell? How should it communicate with you? When ChatGPT, when it went from 4.5 to 5, some people complained. They're like, oh, it's too direct now. It's not as supportive anymore. Well, you can actually, nothing actually happened, like nothing fundamentally changed that can't get you back to that. You can get back that style with custom. There's a whole lot there that I can't even get into.
I did notice it went backwards though, and it's a bit softer now.
I think a lot of people complain, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing though, but some people might not like that. Like I actually like it really direct.
Really?
Yeah, I like it direct.
I didn't like it.
Tell me straight. Tell me.
I liked the little padding and around it.
Right. But also I want it to be supportive. I want it to make recommendations, but I don't want it to sugarcoat. Whereas people in the team, like they want different things. But that's the thing, right? It went back to that. But then now the people who liked it direct are pissed off.
Yeah.
But you can make it your own.
So Mobs, can I clarify? Because for a business, they may have different departments using their ChatGPT, right? Let's just use GPT for the example. And different departments will need different things from ChatGPT. So when you're talking custom instructions, is it fair to say that these are really, really high level instructions that can apply to the different needs of people across an entire business? You wouldn't give them specific instructions for a particular department here. It would be higher level in terms of like overall brand voice.
If everyone's using that account.
Yes.
Right. So when we started, we all used one account.
Yeah.
So in that case, in the custom instructions, we need to account for that. We can literally tell it, hey, we'll be using it for clients. We'll be using it for this department, so on and so forth. But then as we've sort of progressed in our journey now, like finance has their own, does not like there's like ring fence, like the lines don't cross, right? Like finance has their own. Your team has their own, Linda, the digital marketing side, paid media side, HubSpot has their own. So now that we've sort of separated those divisions, the custom instructions can be more and more specific. So it really depends on your business, but you can factor that in. You shouldn't be using, like what I've actually started doing is I actually use Grok for my personal stuff now.
Yeah, right.
I was using like our ChatGPT account. But a couple of things, like one, well, do I really want to be like sharing that with everyone in the team? And secondly, am I going to confuse am I going to confuse things, you know? So I just kind of use Grok, like I was looking for a keto-friendly mousse. So I used Grok for that,
right?
But I'm using that. The other really important thing to remember, this is something that intermediate knowledge, what I found, is LLMs are stateless. That means they don't have memory. And you might be listening to this like, oh, maybe that's weird. That doesn't sound right because it remembers what's in the thread. It remembers what I put in yesterday. You think it does, right? But it actually doesn't. It's almost like we spoke about this, and I learned this from Brian, Brian Damish. Damish Shah, I think his name is, or Damish from HubSpot. And he says like that movie Memento, where the protagonist, and if you haven't watched it, it's 20 years ago, like it's tough, right? I'm not going to spoil it. But
great movie.
Something traumatic happens and then he forgets everything. He's only got like very short-term memory, 15 minutes at a time. And for him to remember his mission, he's got little Polaroids and he's got tattoos on himself, right? So it's like he's got these little mementos. And that's how these things work. So sometimes you're like, oh, it's just dumb. It's not dumb or it's forgotten or it reset. It's because like it's actually stateless, has pre-training. That's all the memory it has. And then it relies on you to feed it.
Yeah.
So that's where some of the stuff we're going to talk about later is really important.
You are right though, Mobs, because I mean, even if with my experience, the longer the thread gets, the more it forgets about what's up the top. It has this really short-term kind of threshold, if you will, where it has kind of recency bias to the things that you point to it, but then up the very top, forget about it.
It feels like the more you put in its head, like stuff gets squished out. And that's why. So you might be like, oh, I don't want to keep reminding it that this is what we sell. And I don't like little things. Like I don't want to keep reminding it that we use UK spelling. Right? I found that too. Like we would tell it use UK spelling. And then a week later, it will start giving me Z's in words again, right? That's because you didn't put in custom instructions. And once you realize that LLMs are stateless, I know it feels like thinking, but it's just a predictive machine. Then you're like, oh, I understand why I have to do this stuff. So that is a really, really big one. Use custom instructions. It will literally at least 2x your prompting. And even now when we ask it stuff, I don't even have to tell it that, oh, we are a digital marketing agency that focuses on HubSpot and paid media and lead gen. I don't have to tell it that. It knows that because I have it in the instructions.
Love that.
Now, this one kind of bridges off of that. I might get you to talk about this, Linda, using custom GPTs.
Yeah, so it can seem similar, but it's a little bit more micro than custom instructions. Think of custom instructions as kind of your blanket, like Moby said, really high level about your business, about the brand tone of voice, anything that you need it to know from a macro level. A custom GPT is really, really similar where you can feed it a set of instructions. You can feed it resources and documentation. You can even create a prompt so that way when you jump into the custom GPT, all you have to do is click the button. So it has the prompt saved for you and it knows exactly what to ask you or what to do once you click that button.
What to ask you next, like buttons.
That's it. Yeah, so you can create a really intentional thread and direction based on ideally a task that you do really often. So this is really, really good if there's something that you rinse and repeat, use it every single week or every single day. An example that I have is, let's say Google ad copy, right? Crafting headlines and descriptions. So the process is really simple. You know, we've created instructions where we've told it exactly what to do and what the button should be. So the button is literally, you know, create me 5 different descriptions and 20 different headlines. So when I click that button, it will then ask me a series of questions to be able to do that. I can load it up with previous headlines and descriptions that I love.
And frameworks. And
That way it knows what to reference. And I feel like the resources are the gold in custom GPTs in my experience. The best part of it is being able to load up documentation. I feel like it refers to it really, really well and remembers it. It's like the backbone of that custom GPT.
It is, and what Linda's talking about is super, super simple. There's literally a window. You can tell it step by step, do this, and then give me this button to click, and then give me this button to click. And here are all the PDFs that are attached as resources. I use something similar. It works really, really well. For my LinkedIn, I use AI, and I use it to synthesize my thinking. So I'm like, okay, there's something that there's a topic that I'm thinking about. And so what I've loaded, similar to yourself, Linda, like I loaded it up I bought some hooks, right? I bought a template library, and it's, I loaded 3-4 things, like the best hooks, the best CTAs, the best whatever.
Nice.
And then another PDF because I've been doing this for a really long time, I was able to load it with like 20 of my best performing LinkedIn posts ever. So I'm like, use all of this, do it in my style, and every time you create something, give me 3 hooks based on these proven framework, etc. Now, if you don't have that it's fine, because you might find like, oh, this is some styles I really like. Here are some people I want to copy, right? Load them up with people you want to copy. I would say be really careful. Like the more you squeeze in, you'll get confused. So if you've got someone who's very contrarian and then someone who's very like analytical, be careful about that. You could do it, but you have to put it in the custom instructions. But the point is, there might be some people there you really like, you like that style. You can load it up, and then you don't remember they're stateless, so you don't have to keep feeding it that stuff, and it's very efficient.
But that's saved me an incredible amount of time on heaps of different tasks, and the team as well. So I recommend that.
Cool. Next one, use meta prompting. I don't know who coined this. I first heard this from Dharmesh as well. But the idea of meta prompting is telling it to tell you how to prompt. Because the risk is what happens with a lot of people. If you ask a bunch of people like, how do you use AI? Normally it comes down to a bunch of prompts that it's just human nature. We end up like, we have our bunch of prompts. I'm not going to put a number on it. It might be 5 for some, 10 for others. But a bunch of prompts we just keep going back to. Like, okay, I'm going to use it for emails all the time. I'm going to use it for this. And it's really good. It's a really good trained behavior, and all the best teams are using it on a daily operational basis, in addition to projects like agentic projects. But you can train bad behavior as well. So the whole thing about meta prompting is you tell it how to make this prompt better. So it's literally a line, and it's literally like something like this, like rewrite the prompt below. So it's optimized for GPT-5. So you put in the model, right? Like, is it 4, is it 5, whatever. Rewrite the prompt below so it's optimized for GPT-5. Ask me any clarifying questions you need to. And then put the prompt you were going to.
Yeah.
So whatever prompt you were, just add that on the top, and then it will like look at it. It will be updated based on the model that you're using, and it might say, have you thought about this? You thought about that? The amount of times I've done that and it's asked me something that's like, oh my God. Like, it might say, hey, can you give me some example websites, or give me some references, or who's the customer, or remind me of this. Takes it to another level.
Yeah. There's so many terms out there. I mean, this is just marketing, isn't it? But I remember most when we did our conference, 2-3 years ago now, and we were doing there was a segment on AI, and I called it reverse prompting, which is really similar.
Yeah, true.
Right?
Yeah.
This is what I'm trying to achieve. Like, ask me all the questions you need to ask me to be able to ask you what I need. So try and talk to the model about the outcome, and then get it to reverse engineer it for you.
Yeah.
But it's really similar, isn't it?
I think it all works. Try different things for different cases. The one you mentioned, Linda, is really great. Like, especially when you don't know when to start, or don't even really know what to ask.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
The next one. So this one, it's a little bit of work, but we're going to give you a free resource. This is something we literally gave away to like 100 CEOs at our last event a couple of months ago. And it's just continuing off custom instructions, custom GPTs. And that's to create a brand voice document. So again, a lot of these tools out of the box, they make it very easy because they just want you to use the tool. But what you don't realize is there's a lot more to it, right? So for example, with HubSpot's got this, we're going to talk more about it, I'm sure, in another episode. It's got this customer agent, which it's a chat on your website where it's so smart. It knows, like, if someone's asking a question, it'll okay, what page are you on and why are you asking this? All right, is this like a pricing question? Let me send you some pricing stuff. Is this someone who needs to be triaged, speak to a human? Is this a support question? Or like, it's really, really clever, but you can feed it stuff. And what you can feed it is something that's known as a brand voice document. Now, this is not just for HubSpot. I really recommend you do this because a lot of tools will let you, like you said, Linda, let you upload resources. Will literally have sometimes a brand voice, right?
Yeah.
And the one that I'm looking at, the template that we'll link in the show notes, it's literally got things like, it's long, the brand, the one-liner, the category, your mission, proof points, audience, jobs that need to be done. It goes on and on, like the tone of voice, etc., like preferred terms you should not. It goes on. But what I want to do is link this in the show notes, redpandas.com.au/EP190, and use AI to make yours. You could literally say, here's an example, copy and paste it, rewrite it for me, for my brand, based on what you know. And what you don't know, ask me questions so I can complete it. But these are like 10x is no joke, right? This is not a clickbaity title. If you start doing this stuff, you can really, really make your prompting very specific and a lot more efficient.
It kind of goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning, where you want to spend time using AI on things that you already do and already do really well. Because chances are you're already going to have a lot of documentation that you're going to be able to load into ChatGPT or whatever LLM you choose, because you're picking the right things to use AI for. Like, for example, we do a lot of content here, a lot of website content and copy. So for us, we have a story brand framework that already exists for a lot of our clients, for our own business. And so when we want to get ChatGPT to create content for us, we've already got all the frameworks, we've got all the right information already, because we do that thing so often. So we can just load that stuff in, and therefore our prompt is going to be infinitely better because we're not picking some random item that we don't ever do and don't have any documentation for, and therefore going to have probably worse prompts associated to that stuff. So it kind of ties back, Mobes, to the beginning.
Absolutely.
Pick the right things and you'll have all of this stuff naturally.
Yeah, and that just gets you on your journey. Your prompting just gets better and better and better.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. We'll leave it there. Definitely check out the show notes. Definitely visit the website, redpandas.com.au. There is a lot of resources on AI. We've got a section just on that. Follow us on LinkedIn. You can follow myself or Linda. There's always stuff we're putting up on the page. And we'll join you guys again next time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to Inbound Buzz. Learn anything? Return the favor by spreading the word. Want to make your mark in digital? Need help with your digital strategy, inbound, and marketing automation efforts? Then visit redpandas.com.au and be sure to tune in next time for another Inbound Buzz hit.